Welcome back to Earth with a bang. So the moaners and groaners were out in force again last night, which I guess is really understandable. A lot of emotion running very high after a draw at Olympiacos. Not one of Europe's elite. Most of our fans will be considering us a far bigger team with far better players and so on and so forth. So disappointment, and I guess rightly so, disappointment, especially when you're 2-0 up in the game, looking at your opportunities for game management and trying to see the game out and build on what we've done. We started off poorly. We were having a bad time of it. Very slow, very laboured, very tired. Very little idea about what we were trying to achieve. And so, getting 2 goals against the run of play, fortuitous, I have to say. Harry Kane goes down in the box, gets a penalty, and an absolute bang-on penalty for anyone who wants to argue that. For me, bang-on penalty. The geezer had a nibble, didn't get it the first time, so he hung his foot out the second time. It's a pen, simple as. And Harry Kane doesn't miss many. And you know, how many times have we seen it? Top right, top left, bottom right, bottom left. But this one, a cheeky little chip across the goalkeeper as he dived down. Very nice. Another one to add to the collection of what he can do from the penalty spot. So yeah, got us ahead in the game, and then all of a sudden Lucas Moura does that piece of magic. Ball sits up lovely for him, lovely ball, and bosh, straight in the back of the net. Keeper can't do nothing. 2-0. Everything's looking rosy in the garden. Not really under any pressure. Olympiacos were huffing and puffing, wasn't really getting anywhere. And then, same old story, a little bit of magic. Their little magician who they're pinning their hopes on, turns on the afterburners, pulls straight across our players who are caught flat-footed. Ball's in the back of the net, 2-1, right at the end of the first half, meaning the second half is going to be a bit of a long, drawn-out battle. Arsenal all over again. We could kind of all see it coming, couldn't we, really, to be fair. So when Jan Vertonghen stepped forward and trod on the Olympiacos player's foot, the writing was on the wall. It was all over. And to be fair, 2-2 is probably a fair result. I don't think either team did enough to win the game, and so 2-2, take a point away, it's better than a loss. But lots of emotion flying around, certainly on social media. A lot of people saying a lot of stuff, which is, it got me to actually turn it off last night. I'm finding myself becoming rather intolerant from a lot of this stuff. It's kind of getting on my nerves a little bit, if I'm being honest. The expectation from fans is, you know, it's as high as it can be. It's growing and growing and growing. The expectation and the pressure is just building and building and building. You know, and we're all in it for the trophies. We all want to see our team be successful and so on. But for me, I'd rather see us play well. You know, I'd much rather look at the Crystal Palace and take the positives out of the Crystal Palace game in terms of how we played. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I want to see. I want to see that passion, the aggression, the press, the swift movement, and so on and so forth. But going away to Athens is not going to be the same as playing Crystal Palace at White Hart Lane. You know, they haven't lost there for something like 18 months, and they haven't had a goal scored against them there since March. So it wasn't going to be an easy game, as much as our fans want to believe it is. It isn't. I don't think any game these days is that easy. You know, even when you come across, when we go to Colchester, don't for 1 minute think that Colchester ain't going to be up for this game. You know, they're going to really want to turn it on. They're going to really want to, you know, beat Goliath, if you like. You know, they're all going to want to do that. And when you're up there, everyone wants to knock you down. You know, you ask any Man City player or Liverpool player about the pressure that they're under because of the expectation being so high. It's doubly worse though when your own fans are doing it. Your own fans are looking to knock you down and criticise every little thing that you do. Listen, you know, at the end of the day, we've all got opinions, right? You know, and that's what makes football so passionate and interesting, is that we've all got a different take on how a game played, or whether it was or wasn't a penalty, or whether it was or wasn't offside, or how this player played or that player played. Now, I've seen a lot of social media stuff, and a lot of people were saying Winks ain't good enough, he was shocking, blah blah blah, and yet I've seen lots of other people saying how good he was and how he was our best player, considering how poorly we played. So it just shows you the difference of opinion that people have. So, you know, listen, you know, not everyone's going to agree with me. You're not all going to agree with my opinion on it. But the way I see it, we come away with a point at an away game. You know, it's not the worst result in the world. Could have been better, should have been better. But it's not the disaster that some people are making it out to be. Out and out, Eriksen had a diabolical game. I think most people have said that. I think I read somewhere that he'd given the ball away 22 times or something. But let's be fair, you know, Eriksen has them games. You know, it doesn't matter how much the media build him up and other people build him up. He does have them games where he's not great, you know. And I don't know why that happens. I'm sure he don't know why that happens. I'm sure if he knew why that happens, or if Pochettino knew why that would happen, they would be working to try to fix it. So, you know, yeah, he had a bad game. But I don't think any player really covered themselves in glory, apart from maybe Lucas Moura, because he scored such a good goal and he had so much emphasis, and Harry Winks, in my opinion, because I felt that he was trying to pull the strings in midfield and he was trying to make things happen, you know. So I don't think anyone's really covering themselves in glory apart from maybe those two. So really, really disappointing. You know, my expectation for this season is that we've bought some players that were supposedly really good additions to the squad. So my view is, where we've always lacked is the ability to chop and change things. Because listen, we've got 7 games in 21 days. So you cannot expect the same team to play all of them. As nice as that would be, you have to put in some changes here and there. Now, I'm not sure whether Pochettino maybe thought to himself, we're going to be doing a lot of defending, so hence the reason why I'm going for a centre-back at right-back. I'm not going to expect them to be bombing up the wings and getting a lot of space. They're going to be defending a lot of time, so I'm better off to put a better defender in there than I am to put a attack-minded right-back. Maybe that was his view. But when you've got Kyle Walker-Peters on the bench, who is a right-back, and you've got Aurier, who played at the weekend and had a really good game, for me, I kind of think, well, Aurier ain't played that much, keep him in there, you know, keep him in the team. But maybe Pochettino's looking at it and going, I need more defensive there. Hence the reason why he maybe went for Ben Davies as the left back, because he's a little bit more defensive minded than maybe Rose was. And to be fair, Rose has played, you know, most games this season, so maybe he does need a little bit of a break. Maybe he's got games coming up that he wants to use him in that are a bit more important, or where he maybe required more tactically. But only Pochettino kind of knows the answers to these questions. You know, we can all surmise it. We can all kind of go, this is what I'd have done. But we're not Premier League football managers. You know, we're, you know, whatever we do. So, yeah, I guess you can kind of put a little bit of pressure on Poch for why he didn't keep Aurier in the team, or at least go with KWP, you know, for that role. I don't know, because certainly Davinson Sanchez clearly is not a right back in the sense that he will attack, he will cross the ball, and he'll get up the line. You know, he is very much a defensive player. Now, I don't think he played particularly badly. You know, I don't think Davinson played particularly badly. It's just that he's played out of position, and I just didn't think he offered what you would want to see in the way that we play. You know, in terms of service to our attacking players. I think the other one who's unlucky to have missed out is probably Lamela. Again, he's played quite a few games, and maybe they're trying to, you know, manage him a little bit better. But, you know, don't want to get him injured or whatever. I don't know. But certainly when he came on, there was a little bit more endeavour in the team. Good to see Dele back, but again, you know, Dele's coming back from injury, and Dombele's coming back from injury. Is there a good game to put him into? You know, that's gonna assist that. I don't know. You know, I suppose from his point of view, Pochettino I'm talking about, he's looking at the fixture and going, this isn't our hardest fixture in the Champions League. So you know, these are good players who should be able to put in a decent performance, and if they've got the intensity in the first half and in the beginning of the game to get us ahead in the game, then make some changes later on. Maybe that was his thinking. But as I say, only he knows that. You know, only he knows the answer to those questions. You know, there are people, unbelievably to my mind, there are people questioning whether we should be moving on from Pochettino and getting another manager and so on. Not for me, not a chance. I'd much rather stick with Poch and see where he takes us, because I firmly believe that he is the right man for us. He's the right man for our club. But as I say, I don't always agree with the decisions he makes. But he's with these players every day. He's training these players. He's watching their attitudes, their fitness, and so on. And he was clearly disappointed in the game. You know, he was clearly disappointed that the performance didn't match what he'd set out in his plan for the game. Why is that? You know, what's stopping that? And I think that's where he needs to get to the bottom of. What is it that's stopping the players perform to the level that he wants them to consistently? You know, goals against you happen. You know, the first goal they scored, you know, was a good goal. It was well worked, good goal. Caught the defender flat-footed. You know, you got a player running against you with a bit of pace. You know, that's going to be difficult. You know, the penalty, for me, it was more about the fact that we were trying to play it out, and it kind of, you know, it was sloppy at the just outside the box there. I'm pretty sure it was Ericsson who the ball came to, and the ball was stolen off of him by a player who wasn't near him when the ball was played. But he moved in, put that pressure on, played it to their players' feet, and then of course you got Jan behind him trying to shield him or block him off, but just puts his feet down on top of his foot. So whether we like it or not, that's a penalty. You know, in times gone by it wouldn't have been, but in this modern game It is. That's a penalty. And when you do something like that, you're going to get punished. It's just simple. So, but those things happen, you know. I'm sure the defender the other end is saying, I wasn't trying to trip Kane over. I was trying to win the ball because I got it the first time and I thought it was just bubbling in front of me. I put my foot out to get it, but he clips him, takes him down. It's a penalty, you know. So, yeah, disappointing, you know, disappointing not to win, especially when you're 2-0 up. But for me, it's the manner of the game that's more disappointing. The fact that we just seem to lack any kind of urgency or press. When you consider that, you know, how we played sort of, 4 days previously? How can you go from playing like that to playing like that? Because essentially the spine of the team was still there. The spine of the team was there, that was there against Palace. Few changes, but nothing really drastic. Again, maybe the right back position, but the goals didn't go from the right back position, you know, so you can't really blame it on that. But I don't know, the balance of the team, I don't know, it just didn't seem to be right for me, you know. But as I said, you know, it's a point away. Let's see what it takes us in the next game. Let's see where we are. We've got to keep the faith. We are supporters. We're there to support. We are fans. We are there to try to motivate the team and so on. You know, like I've said many times, I go to football to be entertained. I watch football to be entertained. You know, I want to see us playing decent football. That for me is the most important thing. But the way this game is going is it's so financially important to be in the Champions League. Forget about winning the Champions League, forget about even getting out of the group. It's just so important to the club to maintain this Champions League position that kind of everything else goes out the window. We used to mock Arsenal fans for the fact that all they ever did was grind out 4th position so that they were in the Champions League for the next season. You know, we used to mock them for that. But essentially that's what's happening. That's where we are. We're playing in a competition where we're not expecting to win it. We're just happy to be there. For me, that's not good enough. I don't want. If you're gonna play in a competition, you want to play in that competition because you want to win it. You know, because you think you can win it, because you're part of that group of elite, not just also rans. You know, that just there by default because, you know, for whatever reason. So I apologise. A little bit of a rant about it. You know, not much analysis in the about the game. I guess I'm just kind of disappointed. But you've got to stay positive. You've got to stay, you know, believing in your team. You've got to try to support the team moving forward and making sure that they know you're there and that we're looking out for those players. You know, just getting on a player's back constantly is not going to help that player get any better. It's as simple as that. So anyway, we move on. Champions League over this week. On to Leicester at the weekend, which by the way is not going to be an easy game. So we just hope that our players are back to the Crystal Palace mindset rather than the Olympiacos mindset. Keep on going, guys. Up the Spurs.